Welcome, welcome, welcome. I never know exactly when I'm actually live on YouTube, so I'll keep saying welcome, welcome, welcome until I'm sure I can move the screen. So welcome. I'm going to start shortly. And if you're watching live, then you can go to the live chat and there's the Zoom link that will take you right into the video, right into the Zoom where you can ask your questions live. We always prioritize live questions. Also note that there's another transmission that's going to happen tomorrow or tonight, 28th in the evening, of the night in the States. I'm in India, so the time zone doesn't quite work for everyone in the global audience so perfectly, but those who can be here. Those who will join the next one will join the next one. The most important thing for those who participate live, just keep yourself muted when you're not speaking, as it kind of keeps us from the background noise expanding. I have been having a little bit of lag with this internet connection. So just a heads up, please speak up if you experience that there is a cut in my audio or video. Worst comes to worst, I'll take the video off, and that usually improves the quality of the connection. So because of my travels, the streams are going to be just generally more irregular. When I am capable of doing it, this happens every week. I'm going to do several this week, this week into next week. And yeah, and then from then on, it's going to be a break again. And join the email list if you would like to be updated about these happen. This week, super last minute, I announced her and what I offer, and then to contact me, book a session. This page has all my information. Send a message. Oh, I need to update that WhatsApp. Yeah, don't contact me on that WhatsApp. So sorry. But also, these live streams are done on a donation basis. If you feel like you want to support this and cover the costs of Zoom and all the things that go into it, it's an effort, and it really helps to have the support that allows me to continue to put as much energy as I do into this and everything that is possible. Yeah. I'm doing my best. I'm working now. Thank you. Yep. Got it. Thank you. Got it. Thank you. So yeah, we'll begin now, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Hello, we say a fantastic day for all of you at this moment in time. We are the Pleiadian Council. We thank you for allowing this transmission to take place. It is a gift and a blessing to be able to connect with you. And we are always very pleased to support the process of your collective consciousness and awakening and returning to the one source. So today we would like to share a special tool that we suggest to all of you to stay in the flow, to access your highest possible self and vibration. We also ask those who are here live to mute themselves. We are getting a bit of feedback. So, as we've shared, to align with your own highest spiritual self, to really mute yourself, guys. All right, let us continue. To align with your highest spiritual self, to manifest all that you desire and need, to support the collective in its awakening, we offer you this formula that is to act on whatever you love very most, your highest excitement, the best of your ability, without insisting on any particular outcome. Do this consistently. Use all feedback to stay in a positive state no matter what happens. And great things will happen for you. The basis of this is action. Every action creates a loop. While you experience the seeming illusion of time, everything that you've ever considered past, future, are being experienced right here and now. When you choose your own highest passion, you change the past and the future. You create a ripple that carries with you, inspiring you to move into the same sorts of actions again and again. The memory of the past is held on as a belief system that stays in your system and moves you sometimes to repeat the seeming past actions. You do this often simply out of habit, simply because you're used to it, because it's become familiar with you, and because you believe that it serves you. If you didn't believe it served you on some level, you would no longer do it. The best way to break out of habits is to tap into choosing what really excites you again and again and again, knowing that you are dynamic beings. What fills your heart with that feeling of love changes from moment to moment. And instead of being dialed into the idea of following a very strict regimen of what serves you according to those belief systems that might have come to you through some sort of direct or implicit indoctrination. Your true essence of love is always present and is very dynamic, always in flux according to the changing energies around you that you are navigating. When you choose love, you break the old cycle. When you choose love, you start to wash fear from your system. This process sometimes challenges you to face the beliefs that are held. In fact, it always challenges you to do that. And that is why we present to you the idea of this tool, this permission slip today, of writing a very specific letter to yourself. And reading this letter every single day. This is a letter that must be written in your own language, in your own ideas. And it must communicate a few very basic things. It must communicate the idea of this formula. And this letter is a sort of pact that you will play out you will read every day, and you will hold the intention of doing all of the things that you've written in this letter every single day. What are the things that you put in it? First of all, we don't want to write a sort of letter that instructs you to live out every day in a way that you consider monotonous or overly structured. We want you to give yourself room to flow and to adapt. And we want you instead to focus on the ideas that help you stay in the consciousness of love at all times. So some of these things will include this formula of acting on your highest excitement, love, passion, and joy to the best of your ability without insisting on an outcome. These words we find very suitable for most of you, though you may find that there's a way that you can understand this and integrate this according to your own language, according to your own preferences, according to your own understanding of yourself, so that you can change it to suit your own needs and your own life. That ought to be the basis of this letter. Every day I will live in this way, follow this formula that I know allows me to maintain a positive, loving, compassionate, and open state absolutely all of the time, and correct my momentum at the moments that I start to lower into a less balanced vibration. Then this letter will contain all of the ways that you know that you can absolutely do that. So it ought to include the tools and techniques of neutralization that you already know work. By neutralization, we mean that as you go through the course of your life, acting on your passion, raising your vibration, you encounter certain challenges. Sometimes these are outer challenges of obstacles, things that prevent you from doing what you set out to do, roadblocks in the way, delays, other people's interference. Other times, these challenges manifest from the inside as your fear, as your doubt, as your insecurity, as your judgment of yourself or of others, of your impatience or your arrogance. Either way, you experience these challenges on an inner level. Whether you are experiencing the challenge of one of your own belief systems or a challenge that manifests outside of you, you experience it in your body. A challenge that manifests outside of you stops being a negative thing when you tune into the sensations in your body and the thought processes in your body and interrupt them and choose to use the situation in a positive way. So how do you neutralize it? First is, of course, that understanding that all of these experiences can be used in a positive way, and that just because you are experiencing a challenge on an inner or outer level, it doesn't mean that you've chosen the wrong path. It doesn't mean anything negative about you. You are still perfectly capable and a total embodiment of the one source. And so this letter to yourself ought to include that understanding in your own words, and it also ought to include the ways that you can best neutralize those situations. One of the most powerful ways that you can do this is returning your awareness to your breath and to the sensations in your body, especially the sensations in your heart. That is, with any sensation anywhere else in your body, if it calls your attention, bring your attention there. So sometimes these sensations and emotions can get you trapped when all you do is focus on the pain. And why your heart is such a powerful center is because it's the literal center of your energy body, your physical body. And when you come to the center of anything, it gives you the awareness of the entire thing. So it is by having that full body awareness, not just awareness of where you experience pain or challenging sensations, that allows you to move from that limited perspective to a fully embodied, holistic perspective. And the full embodiment is, again, easiest to tap into when you move directly into the center, directly into the heart. The breath also helps you to stay aware of how your energy system is doing. And by allowing yourself to focus on your internal experience and let go for a moment of attempting to control experiences outside of your own body, the powerful neutralization of those emotions and the beliefs behind them takes place that allows you to return into that first part of the formula of acting on what you love, acting from that love and bringing love into the world. And as we've said before, you cannot embody love without doing what you love. Therefore, the most important thing for self-love, which is the basis of healing and manifestation, and the most important thing for spiritual realization, which is not possible without self-love, and the most important thing for, yes, then essentially anything that you could want to experience or manifest is self-love. It is not simply saying, I love myself, and hoping that that works. It is acting love out. And so in this letter to yourself, which is a sort of active love letter, it's not a, this is everything I love about you letter. It's a, how am I going to love you more every day letter? And therefore it must include, what do you love to do? And of course, some of you find that having a routine is what you love to do, and you might love to every day wake up and do some practice of exercise or qigong or yoga or swimming for your body, or it could be dancing, or it could be taking a walk, or it could be hugging a tree, or it could be cuddling with someone, or it could be taking your dog out, but something that engages your body lovingly. You could write, I'm going to do this every day with love. I'm going to do another sort of experience or practice every day with love. And putting this in a letter that you read every day helps you get into that habit loop. It helps you reinforce it so that those of you who find it challenging will actually do it. And some of you live more dynamic lives due to changing structures and situations, and you might not intend to do that exact same thing every day, but you might write instead that I will find a way to be loving towards my body every day. And yes, of course, include all of your other activities that you love. If it is a creative activity, write about how you will direct your energy lovingly towards that creative activity. If it is your community, your family, your people in some way, write about how you will lovingly, compassionately, and openly connect with those people. And yes, write about the nuances of how you want to engage with that love. When you write this letter, we also want you to think about what challenges you. as this will inform you very much of the reminders that you really need. The first part of the letter might be easy to write, but then considering your challenges will help you really include the parts that you need to hear every day the most. If your challenge is frustration, think about what has helped you most with that frustration and write a sentence or two about how you will remember that powerful neutralizer. If the challenge that you experience the most has to do with some sort of theme of self-worth, write about how you will remind yourself how great you are and how powerful you are, and that you will smile to yourself in the mirror, and you will surround yourself with people who mirror you that love, and take space from the people who judge you, as this is an important way of really connecting with the people that reinforce your positive beliefs. Though naturally, when you make the choice inside to focus only on the positive beliefs and actively engage with the negative beliefs to neutralize them, generally, one way or another, the people that reinforce the negative beliefs will fall out of your life. So if that is an experience for you, you might want to include a sentence in this letter about how you will be very compassionate and neutral and open. Not necessarily open, no. You will be cordial. You will be kind to those who challenge you. Because again, you can't take space from these dark and heavy energies in a state of resistance. If you fight against them, they will fight against you stronger. When you have that inner quality of compassion, these energies will neutralize. Think also of the things that you might forget to do and include them in the letter. Think of the things that you need to do for your health and include them in the letter. That might mean taking certain supplements, eating a certain way, eating certain foods, eating mindfully. It might include simple things like brushing your teeth, and so on and so forth. It might sound silly to include these mundane things in the letter, but some of you might find a challenge to fit them all in. And also putting these in the letter and reminding yourself that taking care of your health in this way is a deep act of self-love that serves the greater good, helps you to feel more loving and embodied as you do it. And then, of course, it's your letter. So these are just the basics that we would suggest, right? Any reminder that you would like yourself to have, right? Any affirmation that you would like to reflect to yourself. And finally, we would absolutely encourage you to remind yourself that the purpose of your existence is for the one source that all of you are to know itself. And remind yourself that whatever experience you have, it becomes a positive experience when you use it to cultivate self-knowledge. And this self-knowledge allows for the source to know itself through you. Include that being who you are is the purpose of your existence. It's the only way for the self-knowledge to be discovered. And therefore, you need your love and your passion and excitement to really, truly, fully be yourself, know yourself, and support this existence and being a more loving place. So write this letter out. You can do it digitally, though we would then encourage you to write it on a piece of paper and put it underneath your phone. Because after all of you grab this phone at some point. Keep it underneath your phone every single night. And before you open your phone, read this letter to yourself. And take a moment to breathe 3 deep breaths after this.
with your eyes closed, really reflecting, really integrating this letter, this path, these reminders that you have created for yourself, and then carry forward in your life. And yes, this will be a very powerful tool that helps you to integrate what you need to integrate. And you might find that every year, half a year, or 3 months, depending on who you are, that you might want to add a sentence from the letter or remove a sentence from the letter you found to be distorted by some negative belief. Make sure that when you write the letter that you're not holding yourself to too high standards, and that you're leaving the room for flexibility and gentleness and self-compassion, because you can't force yourself to change with this letter. It's just a reminder. It's just encouragement, though it's a very helpful encouragement for you to develop consistency, because again, it's only when you act on your highest love in every moment that momentum that becomes the force of transformation that really brings about breakthroughs carries out your life. If you spend only 1 hour a day doing something very loving, and then the rest of your day doing things that cause you fear or resistance, you are not actually going to change. You will get to that same vibration of love and then fall back down. So it is consistently staying in that vibration of love that brings about a total transformation of your being. And for some of you, that may mean your life changes a great deal over a period of time. For others, you simply find there's a little bit of adjustment here, a little bit of adjustment there. But once this energy becomes fully inundated in your life, you will find that change happens more quickly. And you will only let this experience of love be a constant 24/7 experience once you fully accept and adapt to change. Change is the only constant in this world. Everything is impermanent. The great teachers have taught you this in many different ways. So use the words that suit you best to understand this concept, but do understand it thoroughly. One thing that will have to change is your own idea of who you are as a being. In some senses, you are much bigger than you have allowed yourself to fathom, because you are the whole universe. In other senses, certain aspects of yourself that you have over-glorified are not as significant, and your attachment to them has prevented you from surrendering to the change in the bigger you. So allow your own idea of who you are, your own identity, to become less fixed and solid. Accept that this also forever changes. And as you accept this forever changing nature of things, the ever-loving force beneath this comes to be more apparent, comes to work through you more, and you surrender to it, and it gets to a point that it feels as if love works through you and you do almost nothing but respond to the calling of love that motivates you. This is the life we want for all of you. It will powerfully change your world. So we thank you for allowing this message, and we hope you take the time to write this wonderful letter of love to yourself and use the tool. And in a couple of months' time, please return to us and let us know how it served you, because it will be very exciting for those who participate in these streams to witness each other experience the benefit and the growth of this powerful and deep love letter to yourself. The following stream will add some more understandings that can nuance what we have just said. But for now, we will open it up to your questions, comments, musings, and inquiries, beginning whenever you wish. Are you stunned? Or is there a problem? Are you there with us?
I think there's some people being stunned, me included for sure.
Oh,
I can start with reading a question from YouTube. I will just read it exactly as it is. I'm not sure if I understand it completely.
all
It
right.
says,
We're not sure either.
no, it says, blessings to you and all. What is the star forecast next week? I am trying to stay positive regarding my future in America. I will include this in the letter. Thank you.
Yes, include in the letter that you will stay positive. You will use every circumstance that manifests as a reason to be more positive, as something that can bring great growth and joy into your life if you choose to use it and experience it that way. The forecast is exciting. We sense that your Earth is now on a very powerful, positive timeline. However, let's talk about the other timeline. As we have said, about a year and 3 weeks ago, that the events taking place on some timelines of Earth would be recognized as the beginning of World War III. And that timeline still exists. But what's happening now is that you're sorting out through the probabilities what you choose. Do you go down the pathway of World War III, or do you go down a pathway that doesn't need such a drastic circumstance in order to awaken transformation? But let's tell you about this, that even if World War III happens, we have to point you back to this analogy of the slingshot effect. That is, that if there is darkness and there is light, the darkness is on one side, the light is on the other. The further you pull yourself from the slingshot back to the darkness, the faster and the further you propel yourself forward into the light when you finally let go. And in cycles and waves over periods of time, your planet goes through things like the slingshot effect. Recently, in a general sense, you've had World War II, you've had the Vietnam War, you've had many different things. You've had the pandemic experience, so on and so forth, that have been ways of creating slingshot effects. And while it got dark and chaotic for a period of time, you then moved further ahead into the light. And you can choose to do that again to create a more dramatic transformation, or you can choose a more stable and gradual, progressive sort of transformation. Don't place a judgment upon how the collective or how individuals choose to go about their transformation. Some need that dramatic shock of awakening to do a huge degree of work in a short period of time. Part of this is because deep experiences of chaos go to a very deeply held unconscious belief and create an urgency to transform. And in a genuine experience of urgency, people are capable of transforming more quicker. So while we sense your planet is on a timeline of now being a bit tired of the slingshot effect sort of thing and gradually making progressive changes in a more systematic and structured way, there's a possibility that you don't choose that timeline as a collective. It's up to you. We don't judge either which way you do it. There will be a movement towards the light integration in order either way. So we encourage you to adopt this attitude. Whatever happens, it'll be fantastic.
Very beautiful. I have a personal question that is also a bit general, which is with everything you just said, do you have any recommendations for artists or content creators in terms of what content in the next couple of weeks will be healing for the collective in terms of, once the American election is over, there's going to be even more division, I imagine. So any advice in terms of creating content or art that can be more healing or create unity?
Themes of compassion, themes of having love for your enemies and those different from you will be very powerful. This is a practice in the Buddhist tradition called metta, love and compassion, loving kindness. The idea of extending the vibration of love and kindness to yourself, to those you care about, to those you don't know, you're neutral to those that trigger you, that challenge you, that awaken the poisons of hatred within you, and to the entire collective consciousness. Use that as a baseline, as that energy will be very, very helpful. Your collective needs to recognize that it is a collective. And that means everybody has to understand this idea that there are no others, that all is only genuinely one. And so the people who disagree with you are the greatest reflections of you. The ways that you judge them are the ways that you judge yourself. You might be judging other people for being perhaps pedantic, for being perhaps fearful, for being perhaps brainwashed or indoctrinated. These are some of the common ideas that people project onto others at this time in your evolution. They project it onto others without realizing that they themselves have some of those same qualities. Perhaps in certain ways, you see that others are pedantic and brainwashed and so on and so forth, but you don't see that in yourself. And by allowing yourself to see within your own consciousness what causes you to feel negatively towards others, you will step into that unity consciousness.
Beautiful. Just a quick follow-up. Would it be fair to say, with what you just talked about, that all judgment is self-judgment ultimately, or is that distinction?
Yes, though the distinction is between judgment and discernment. You can note, for example, that another person is behaving in an unkind or ignorant way, but then your own definition about their behavior is what makes it a judgment or not. Judgment is synonymous with condemnation. So calling an apple is discernment. Saying that apple is not a tasteful apple, it is a bad, horrible apple, without tasting it, simply because it reminds you of another apple that you didn't once like, and the apple next to it had a worm in it, and they look the same, therefore that's a bad apple too. That's judgment.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Anyone on Zoom who wants to come on live and ask a question?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question, please. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
I just want you to clarify something at the moment. I feel like almost like my life is in at a standstill, in a holding pattern due to external circumstances, and it's making me quite emotional and anxious. So could you just comment on that? Am I interpreting things correctly by making that assumption?
Well, reverse the logic and then you will be correct. You are feeling emotional and disrupted and unable to integrate something. And because of your emotional state, your physical life is in an experience of absolute standstill. But when you sort out your own emotional state, then your life will generate momentum again.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Thank you. And the other question I want.
Well, do you understand that? Can you integrate that? Do you know about the laws of attraction and repulsion, and the nature of vibration, manifestation, and so on?
Yes, to a point, and I'm trying to sort of work on my emotional state, but I don't know how much of my emotional state is sort of related to me going through sort of menopausal symptoms. It feels quite an emotional time, and I'm trying to sort of deal with that as best I can.
Well, this is a phase of life that involves a great deal of transformation. And that theme of transformation has a power of bringing stuff up. But
yes,
you give more power over to the idea of menopause by blaming it for all of the emotions that are surfacing. Instead, when you recognize that this hormonal shift is a part of moving through a life transition, and you focus on the content of the emotions and your approach to the emotions. Do you observe them neutrally? Do you hold a space of love and compassion for them? Do you choose to act in loving and nurturing ways? Are you acting on your excitement? Because once you start to do that, the symptoms will be the same, but they won't manifest in such debilitating ways.
Okay, that's interesting. I think, yeah, I feel a bit sort of, when I feel over emotional, I think part of me sees it as a sort of weakness or vulnerability that, yeah,
well,
as more of a negative thing.
Can I say something?
The second part, no, we have interactions with people, and when we complete the interaction, another person can begin an interaction with us. There is no crosstalk during an interaction. So let us continue. So you are correct in that you are vulnerable, but the definition that vulnerability is negative is incorrect. Vulnerability is an opening to transformation, and vulnerability is an inherent part in challenging a negative belief. This is because whatever you believe, you have created an attachment to, an identification with. And therefore, when that belief is being challenged, is being shaken, is manifesting a negative circumstance for you, you are inherently vulnerable. But your world that has trained you to be super focused, super achieving, presenting an image of perfection, has caused you all to collectively create a definition of vulnerability as threatening, negative, weak. But these are, again, part of the belief systems that keep you stuck in other sorts of negative belief systems. So you have to understand, first of all, this fundamental principle of total neutrality, that all experiences, including emotional experiences, are fundamentally neutral. The reason that you become over emotional and a challenge or a conversation or an obstacle becomes something that sends you into massive depression, anxiety, or panic is because of the belief that defines the experience as positive, or in the cases of these emotions, as negative. So you have to interrupt the cycle with neutralizing the phenomena, understanding that what's happening is only good or bad if you choose to define it that way. Neutralizers that help you as actions are things like returning your focus to your breath, observing the sensations in your body, and allowing yourself to experience discomfort without resisting it, allowing yourself to experience pain without resisting it, and breathing into it, imagining a bright, brilliant light moving through your body, circulating through your body, and breaking these stuck and resistant patterns loose so that you no longer identify with what you're experiencing. Does that sound like something you could do?
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. That's wonderful advice. And my second quick question is, in a lot of my dream time, I'm having a lot of interaction with very young children, and I just wondered if that was part of the hybridization program in the astral when I dream, or is it more about sort of resolving childhood issues or the child within? Could you just comment on that, please?
50-50.
Okay.
A bit of both.
Okay.
You are both having interactions with some hybrid children that you supported in creation.
Yeah.
And you are also awakening some memory of your own inner child. At first, this will simply appear as the idea of children and youthfulness and playfulness. And as you start to have different encounters with this energy and experience what it brings up, you might start to cycle through specific memories.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, blessings to you. Thank you.
Oh, unconditional love you as well. Yes. All right, somebody else, a big question or a comment?
There's no written questions on Zoom or YouTube, so I think the channel would love this to be a shorter one, so maybe we are complete.
All right, we'll give it a moment.
I have a question.
Oh, yes.
I live in Italy. In the last 4 years, I've been many times in hospitals, sometimes for reasons, all the time for reasons, in my opinion, but not only for my body. Can you tell me something more about this? Because I know I can feel that it's not only about my physical body.
No,
I don't know.
no. There's a certain level of stress that you're holding on to. And it has to do with some experiences of manipulation that you have had earlier in your life. There is a certain way of seeing relationships between yourself and others and yourself and the collective that is causing you a degree of stress that's causing your body to manifest psychosomatic issues.
Mm. Yeah, this is not what I mean. I know what you say. I understand this. But it feels that I have a role for the collective also being there in the hospital. For example, if I'm in a time with stress and I end up again with heart problems, it feels like I'm there.
This is true, yes, because
for other patients.
Yes, this is true, that as you heal your own experiences and release your own belief systems, you are putting a puzzle piece into place for the collective. doing your own healing work, even when that involves challenges and these sorts of experiences, is part of giving back to the collective through the knowledge that you develop in the process, the knowledge of self that you develop in the process. And the understanding that you have is helping you to have trust in the process. So it points you toward
I lost contact.
the need to fix your own understanding or going through the process you're going through. Oh, yes. We said that the understanding that this healing is supporting the collective and it's supporting others around you may lead you to accelerate the process of healing by sharing your own understanding of why these experiences have to happen with others, perhaps through sharing it in conversations or in writing with others.
Yes, I understand. I understand what you say. Thank you.
Yes. Well, thanks to you too. And we want you to consider a powerful medicine for the heart is chocolate. The times that you might feel drawn to chocolate or something like it are actually a intuitive hunch from your body to move your heart into a state of relief, into a state of self-compassion. So allow yourself to be drawn to this and use it in pure forms. You also may experience the benefit from the herbs passion flower, hawthorn berry, and damiana.
What, the last one? I did not understand that.
Damiana.
The nuts.
Damiana. It is a specific herb. This one is not specifically for the heart, but it will help you with something else that's related.
In this moment, I use a lot of, I make fresh vegetable juices, and the last couple of weeks, I drink a lot of vegetable juices.
Well, the idea of this is not necessarily helpful. We understand that many people in your world promote the idea that this helps you detox, but actually, when you strip the vegetables of the natural fiber present within them, it causes spikes in your blood sugar that can be disruptive to your digestion and other experiences. So we would encourage you to have whole foods and not necessarily juice things so often, unless it is something that cannot be consumed or digested at all without juicing it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks to you as well.
Can I ask another question?
Oh, yes.
I live in Italy. Can you suggest, is it possible to tell something more about Italy in this moment? I know the energies are worldwide changing and could be very heavenly. In this moment, for me, it feels like Italy is I don't know, it's still very low in frequencies. Not with all the people, but there's a lot going on with the water and the earth splitting up in my area.
The frequency in Italy is, in some senses, yes, not the highest, in the sense that people are not open to breaking with their identification from the idea of the past and with certain attachments to customs that are based in fear. And this closed-mindedness creates certain restrictions. However, there are also benefits to this energy in that there are pockets of light that happen to break through the cracks of darkness. And when you are in such a place, when you find the people who are open-minded and who are willing to break through and see different perspectives, the power of your connection becomes even stronger. So in such places, the idea of unity is very important and very powerful. In most future timelines, there is to be a rapid acceleration in the frequencies and the energies. And in the future, Italy will once again be a place of immense and powerful light. And there will be many people drawn there in the future.
Yeah, I found several people, and I just recently met a person I would love to make music with, to emerge the female energies with the male energies. Yes. From the heart.
Yes, keep the people who are connected with the light close. And the more you create connection, the more field of attraction that you will create to pull in more people of the like mind, and also then awaken those around you.
Thank you.
And thanks to you as well. And I thanks to all of you for co-creating this interaction, for coming together to align with the power of love within you, and know that you are emissaries of Source, and you are the Source at the same time. To know that you have your own individual experience, yet you are the same as the field of energy around you. And therefore, as you transform your own vibration, which is simply an act of surrender to the fact that everything is changing, and therefore, in this field of change, stepping into the choice of acting on what you love and knowing that from that state of love, everything you experience is neutral and can be used in a positive way. A massive wave of growth, of transformation, of relief, of all of those past beliefs, past emotions, past feelings, and memories will be flushed through your system. Know that this is a time of great transformation. So when you are experiencing these waves of energy, see it as nothing more than a necessary purification. And when you frame it in that way, you neutralize it, you can use it in a positive way and step back into the positive momentum through acting in love much faster. And this will create a massive, massive ripple in your world. Our great thanks and our unconditional love to you, and we wish you a very, very fantastic rest of your day then.
Thank you.
Okay, wow. Yeah, how was that, everybody?
That was very good. Very, very good. Good to have you back.
Great. Yeah, here I am.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. Yeah, thanks for being here, everybody. Good to meet some new people coming to the Zooms. Really appreciate everybody for coming. And yeah, supporting the transmissions and the best those who do light work or into channeling or conscious healing, share the transmission with them, and it, yeah, supports the collective too. But yeah, I thank you for being here. So also tomorrow morning, I'm going to be doing another transmission. I don't know if that suits. I think that's very early in Europe, because Europe is what, 3.5 hours. Yeah, I think that's like 6 in the morning in Europe. So I don't know if people will be up for that, but you can listen to the recording if you're watching live now.
Cool. Thank you so much, Dante.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And sure, we'll share the screen one more time too. Just a reminder to go to the website, because there you can sign up. Has the ways to help it supports me continue to on the email list to get informed when the transmissions happen, because they often happen really last minute. Because well, now when I'm in a stable mode, they are weekly, but because I'm traveling now and I'm not always sure what I'm going to be doing in the weeks ahead, I will just offer them at the times that I know it works for me and get them out there. So yeah, thanks again, and yeah, I look forward to see you next time, and yeah, many blessings and love. And oh yeah, I'm releasing a video later this week about the experience I had in a meditation retreat here. So those who are curious about meditation might enjoy listening to that. So you can report that on the channel too. Okay, yeah, peace, love, blessings. See you later.